Hello friends and welcome back, and today I am proud to be bringing Onslaught to you. Yeah, so the Combaticons were always my favorite Scramble City combiners, so this has been one I've been very excited for quite a bit. We're still short one member, but we're getting there. So here's the packaging. As you can see, we've got Onslaught here on the front. I don't know, maybe giving off pollen or radioactive for some reason. I don't know what's going on with that weird green and yellow glow. Over here off to the side, we got a scene of Cybertron, and there we have Onslaught in his vehicle mode. There is Brawl and Swindle, and there's Vortex and Blast Off. And it is overall a pretty cool piece of artwork. We got the Transformers logo, Combaticon Onslaught. There's the transforms in 44 steps and 4 of 5. Here on the side we have our Bruticus with one little flub there because his knee is not that color. We'll get there. And then on the back of the box, of course, we have our product shots. Calls out Blast Off, calls out Brawl, does not call out Vortex, even though he was the first one out. And just show some of the stuff you can do. Here on the side, of course, that same piece of that circle of prime statues that are also here on the top. Nothing really on the bottom except words and stuff. And so here is Onslaught opened up and out of the packaging. He does come in vehicle mode. There is some assembly required. His gun turrets here do come separate in the box. As you can see, they do have a little keyed side right here with the 5mm port, and that just plugs in and just slots into place. It's not a super tight connection, and that can be a problem later, but we'll get there when we get there. So yeah, here he is, truck and trailer together. He does roll pretty good, but let's get a closer look here at the details. So here we have Onslaught looking like Onslaught the truck. He does get some open exposed robot bits here on the side. I feel like they probably could have engineered a panel in there to cover that up, but it's not bad. It's not terrible. See, we have little bits of green right there. Nice sculpted detail going throughout all of it. You get some paneling going on here. But yeah, again, sides are not pretty, but the rest of it looks pretty good, in my opinion. He looks like Onslaught should. Of course, much like every other Onslaught, kind of see everything going on right here. As for the trailer itself, again, very hefty feeling. It really is. But I mean, you know, this is the whole combined robot in one piece. It's a nice little purple there. Get that nice olive drab going down the sides. You can kind of see the hands there. I love the diamond plated sculpting here. Would have been nice if these were picked out in silver. Or actually, I think they're supposed to be this color as well if we want to be accurate. But who cares? I think those would look good in silver. Here's the rear, which, you know, just looks like hollow bits of plastic. Sadly, the wheels here are clipped on. The front wheels here are clipped on. The back wheels are pinned on. So that is what it is. Again, you can kind of see everything that's going on here. Arms and legs, legs and arms. The turret here does rotate. It doesn't actually go up and down unless you de-transform it and expose the chest there. You can do that then at that point. And as you can see, we also have a trailer hitch here that also has that nice diamond plated sculpting on there. It does rotate. A little bit of detail right there. And you just take these two little teeth right there and they will port into the holes there in the leg. And there you have it. There is Onslaught. He can pull, he can turn slightly, he can completely come disconnected because my tablecloth is kind of soft here. It's not a super tight grip. Those teeth aren't super tight, but they hold on well enough. And here he is with the rest of the team so far. You can see how they all scale together. Not that Blastoff's ever really scaled with them, but, well, I mean, realistically, if you ever look at the actual sizes of all of these vehicles they were supposed to be, this guy was huge. But yeah, you can, of course, just sit Brawl right there. He just sits on, or you can sit on Blastoff if you want to sit Blastoff on there, or, you know, you can put a Bumblebee on there if you want to do that. Just, you know, it doesn't matter. And for some further size comparisons, here we have him next to a Devastation Bumblebee and a Death Cobra. All right, so transformation on this guy is actually fairly simple, but it does have a kind of a cool step that I do like. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up the wheel wells here, and then we will pop this up and rotate it all the way out to make the legs. Pretty simple. Close that back up. We'll flip out the feet, and right here you got a little lip that you can pull down to extend out the heels and split the legs, just like so. Now for the arms, these are a little awkward to get in and out of here because they kind of have to sort of rotate and tab in due to all this junk that's right here, but just sort of pull those out. And let's go ahead and stick those off to the side. Now we'll come here and split these out and rotate them up to make his back cannons. Now you do gotta expose the super robot head here a little bit in order to get the clearance here to sort of flip this up, pull that out a little bit, and rotate it around to accordion the whole backpack into place. And you can close that up. That all tabs in, and that piece there locks into place right below it. And then the arms, I like the way the arms transform. I just think it's kind of cool. So you have to rotate the arm and lay it down, and then take this and rotate it again at the bicep, and then flip out the hand. Sort of a double twist to the arms, and for some reason I just like that. And when all is said and done, you end up with the Onslaught in robot mode, obviously. And yeah, he is a damn fine looking Onslaught in my opinion. I feel like maybe the arms are just a hair too short, but like barely. But yeah, overall he looks fantastic. You can see here we got the Decepticon symbol right there. Now the light makes that Decepticon symbol pop, but with the light not glaring at it, it's actually kind of hard to see that Decepticon symbol. It sort of fades into the plastic a little bit. Not as bad as Skywarps do, but you know, it's very, very noticeable. Get that nice Onslaught-y head sculpt, bright yellow visor there, a little silver there for the mouth plate. Now, I do wish this was more of an orange than a yellow, but it still looks really good. And that sculpt is fantastic. He is missing the little olive drab on the outside of his shoulders, but I don't mind that much. Nice sculpted detail right there. Even sculpted detail on the backs of the hands. Going down the legs here. Of course, we see these in vehicle mode. We do expose these little green bits here on his heels, which serve no purpose other than to be able to fold up and get out of the way for combine mode. And yeah. And once again, for comparison, there he is with a Bumblebee and a Death Cobra. And here is the team all together. Well, so far. Obviously, we're still missing Swindle. But yeah, they are shaping up to be a fantastic team of Combaticons. They look really good together. I still think Vortex here is the weaker link out of the whole set, but overall, they are fantastic, and I am loving them. Although, when I was transforming this guy, yeah, his head popped off and kind of scuffed up his mouth guard here. I'll have to touch that up with paint. This is not that big of a surprise for me because I've already had to fix Transformers here in the past, not that long ago even. And most modern Transformers are designed with light piping in mind, even if they don't get light piping. But yeah, this isn't my first rodeo with a Transformer's head just falling off, or falling apart, I should say. But yeah. And also, just like any of the other Scramble City Combiner leaders, if you want to be silly, you can totally be silly. Now, for articulation, you do have all the usual subjects. So your head is on a ball joint, though you don't get a whole lot of movement out of it. side to side or tilt or any of that. Very little up and down. You do get full rotation though. You do get enough to give him some personality though. Though the panel that the head is on, you know, it does have this little tab that goes into the back of the super robot head, but it's not, you know, not a super tight tab. The shoulders are on universal joints. We do have bicep swivel, elbow bends, though when your elbow is bent due to the kibble here from the wheel well, you don't really get a good rotation out of there because that little piece right there is going to block that rotation. Nothing at the wrist. We do, of course, have a waist swivel all the way around. Hip skirts do get out of the way. We do get very tight hip skirts on mine. We do get ratcheting forward and back at the hip, universal hips. Friction joint going way more than all the way out, which is due to his transformation. We do get over 90 degrees of bend there at the knee, again due to transformation, but the knees do have that thing where they sort of lock into place in the straight position, so just something to be mindful of. We do also have ankle tilt, and we do also, thanks to transformation, get a little bit of toe pivot right there if you want to use that for posing. So now, sadly, Onslaught does not get any weapons or accessories outside of the trailer. And of course, just like every one of these chunks of robot frame, there is a obligatory base mode in here. But I will say, I think out of all of the Scramble City combiners that they've redone here recently, this one feels the most cohesive in its base mode. Not only does it kind of homage that original base mode a lot better than any of the others have done, but it's a lot more solid, it makes a lot more sense, and it actually looks like something. So anyway, to get into base mode, we're going to come over here and we're going to pop that forward just a bit. We'll take off the arms here and go ahead and set those off to the side. And then we'll come up here and just fold this whole, well, the waist assembly up when it comes down to it. And we'll go ahead and fold these panels forward and tab them into place. And also there's more diamond plating underneath here, which you can't really see in vehicle mode. It gets covered up by the cannon, but kind of cool to see that there. And then we'll just lift that whole section up like so and rotate that around. And we'll set that down there. Then we will take the arms and split them apart. And then we're going to turn them around this way, and there is a little peg hole right there with the screw in it and the little slot right there, and these are going to tab into that peg and that tab right there. And there it is. There is the base mode. And yeah, that's a lot more cohesive of a thing. Now you do have these posts right here, and of course those are 5mm posts. So you can totally get your Onslaught here, grabbing on, and have him like he's holding the gun and firing the gun. You can even sort of tilt it down a little bit, so choose. And there you go. These really want to come off. But there you go. You can have Onslaught manning his pants with the guns in them. Now, of course, from here, we can go ahead and form our Bruticus assembly. So we'll just go ahead and pop the arms off. Then we're going to come up here. We want to go ahead and flatten those back out. And right here, you got little tabs that you can pull up on. Pull those up. Then you can extend these all the way out and flip that all the way up. And extend these out, fold down these flaps. Then we'll split the legs and just rotate them at the thigh. And there you have Ed 209's slower cousin, Steve 69. Go ahead and lift that up and open that up. Then we'll flip these up here on the side and flip that all the way out. And we are done with this part for now, so we'll set that off to the side. Then we'll come over here to Onslaught. we will go ahead and flip the feet in and flip these up. Then we will turn the legs this way where the wheels are facing forward and tilt the arms back. And you want to rotate these to where these tabs sticking off the backs of his arms are facing in towards his spine there. And we'll go ahead and flip in the hands at the same time. And we'll go ahead and come down here and just untab that for right now. Then we'll come back here to the legs and we'll open up these wheel panels again and we'll flip in this green part. And then we'll take the knee and bend it all the way in, but we're also going to bend it right here at the second joint. Snap that in and bend that all the way until it's fully collapsed in and zigzagged. And then you can close in the wheels, and then these will come up and they will just tab in right here on the shoulders, just like so. Then last but not least, we'll go ahead and open up that back panel, which will of course pull out the Bruticus head, and we will untab that Bruticus head. It does sort of snap into place down here, and fold in the Onslaught head, close that up, tap it into place, and then his crest collapses in to fit into the chest in robot mode. So you want to pop that up, and we're going to take his whole crotch unit here, which I just noticed has some paint bleed. I didn't notice that before. I got some paint bleed right there. Okay. Anyway, that whole crotch is going to fit into this slot right here, and it does actually snap into place. And it is a very tight fit. Then we'll collapse this up here. Well, we can actually tab that back in now that we've got the head out. So this post is going to go right here into his butt. And this is on a double hinge, so there's a hinge here and a hinge here, so you can sort of finagle that however you need to. You do want to make sure you move the arms out of the way a little bit, as they are going to kind of sort of get in the way. There we go. There we go. And then once that's tabbed into place, you can just tab in the arms. Those tabs go into little slots right in there. You can see that there. Then we'll take the chest, close that up. There are two little tabs right here that are going to go into these slots right here, and this lip is going to clip over the joint right there. Just like so. Then we'll close this up, and there are little grooves right here that are going to groove over these little protrusions coming off of his cannons right there. Just like so. Let's extend up a little bit more. And then, of course, the arms are just like every other Scramble City Combiner arms that we've gotten so far, but I don't feel like they work as well. So all of the new Scramble City Combiners since Menasor that have been using the frame transformation, the arms have all transformed the same way. So this is one panel that rotates up and collapses into place there, and this is another panel that rotates and collapses into place. And the gimmick here is that you put the vehicle mode on, and that little tab is going to go right into there, as well as all these other tabs, going into the various slots. And that unlocks the vehicle, so you can pull the whole thing apart and automatically split the vehicle while you're transforming the arm. Now on Menasor, that worked fairly well. On Superion, that didn't work as well. This was very difficult to pull apart. Here, this is nearly impossible to pull apart with the vehicles attached. Not only because of how tight all of these clips here are, but how loose these clips are. And you really have to give it some force to really pop that into place. And you can see, rather than being a tab, it's actually a hook. You can see that? And these tabs, I think, are just a little bit too meaty and not rounded enough, which makes, in vehicle mode, it holds together much, much nicer, sure. Flip that down there. But when you're trying to do the whole gimmick with the combination of the vehicles, it don't work so good. But anyway, once you've untabbed that and folded that up, you can just slot this into place. Do the same thing for the other arm. And there is our Bruticus frame. This is a version of Bruticus that skipped leg day and arm day, but not chest day. All right, so let's go ahead and put the rest of the team on, and we'll take a look at him when he's put together. And so now here he is with all of his limbs attached. Yeah, I'm not showing how to put them on because when it comes to the arms, it's the exact same as all the others. The legs are the only thing different, but we'll show those off once we get Swindle and actually get our complete Bruticus. As far as articulation is concerned, it's the same that we've gotten with all the other recent Scramble City combiners. So your head is on a ball joint. You don't get a whole lot of movement out of there outside of a rotation, but there is some rotation and some ball joint actions. Very easy to hit his crest here from transformation. Shoulders are, of course, on ratcheted universal joints, just like we've seen on all the rest. Ratcheted elbows, bicep swivel, we got the wrist swivel, we got our universal hip joints with the hip skirts here getting out of the way, again ratcheted, forward and back, and you can rip his leg off. And then we have in and out, not quite as tight of a ratchet. We do have thigh swivel and 90 degrees of bend there at the knee, and I just knocked the guns off of the back of his leg. So they're going to put these back on, just like so. There we go. And boom. And of course he does also have ankle pivot, but it's like way up here right underneath the knee, which kind of helps make his whole leg proportions look a little wonky, as I mentioned before. But overall, yeah, he's shaping up to be a damn good looking Bruticus. And of course, he is the more cartoon accurate Bruticus as opposed to the toy accurate. I think I said already that I'm more of a fan of the toy look, but it's still a damn good looking Bruticus. Except, you know, this arm here should be, you know, kind of this way. But okay, nitpicks, minor nitpicks at that. And for comparison, here he is with Superion. Here he is with Menasor, my updated, stickered, and painted Menasor. And with Devastator, my stickered up Devastator. And he is noticeably smaller than Devastator. So Devastator is bigger than the other Scramble City combiners, which I feel he should be. And here he is with Lio Kaiser. And here's where I really feel the odd proportions on all of these guys really does come off very, very noticeable. Compared to, you know, him, who's very proportionate, with the exception of, you know, slightly smaller head. Yeah, it's very noticeable. Here he is with his Scramble City counterpart, albeit the one that's got the upgrade kit here. And I do have the actual blast off instead of the jet repaint blast off, but yeah. Kind of not a fair comparison when you're dealing with all of the add-on kit on this one, but this thing is actually kind of falling apart, and so I kind of don't want to take the add-on kit off. And for giggles, here he is with his G1 counterpart, kind of towering over him. And lastly, just because we can, here he is, somewhat Scramble City'd up with a Menasor leg and a Superion arm, just so you can see that you can do that. And of course, the way these arms all attach is identical. So you can literally have, you know, either arm be either arm, but the arm bots can only be arm bots. Your leg bots can only be leg bots, but they can only be specifically the leg that they're assigned to for the most part. And so, yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say about this. At least that's it for Onslaught. It's not quite it for Bruticus, obviously. Once we get Swindle, we will revisit this and show how he combines and how Brawl attaches onto the legs at that point. By then, we might even have an upgrade kit worth looking at, but we'll see when we get there. Anyway, that's going to be it for me, guys. Y'all have a good one. And for next time, I've got a new pet murder hornet.